Welcome, Internet Nomad. Today I'm sharing a game tale on my second favorite Zelda of all time. This is my Majora's Mask game tale. My father introduced me to Zelda at a young age. I wasn't old enough to play, but I wanted to see the full game. To this day, there's a file on Ocarina of Time named Timmy, which is fully beaten. This was a file my dad made and played to the end. I used to only play my dad's file after he finished the game. Majora's Mask was the same. I couldn't play a different file because my older brother had his file, so I played my dad's file on Majora's Mask. My younger brother accidentally deleted my dad's file. The game glitched at the start. It was like Ben Drown's type of situation. He played from the beginning, and his inventory was filled with ocarinas. We played the intro, and the Great Fairy killed him when she bestowed magic on him. We restarted the game and realized that my dad's file was gone. I was so angry, so I was determined to beat the game again. I played my older brother's file, who only played up to the second temple. My brother tried to get the Fierce Deity mask with his friend. He thought my dad had enough masks. He didn't know you needed every single mask to unlock it. In high school, I wanted to get the Fierce Deity mask. I would beat the game on my brother's file and collect every single mask. Another crazy thing was my dad beat the game without the inverse Song of Time. I learned about it years later after I played the intro and talked to the Scarecrow. It is crazy that learning the Song of Time's secrets could easily be missed. I always had trouble getting the Romani mask until I learned the inverse Song of Time. It takes longer, but it's easier to defend the barn. The reason I really liked this game was the masks. I love collecting them and wearing each one. My favorite side quest in Ocarina was selling masks and unlocking the special masks as a reward. Talking with certain masks in both Ocarina and Majora's Mask gave different dialogue. Another cool thing about the masks are the different effects they have. My favorites include the bunny hood to run faster, the bomb mask to explode, and the transformation mask. I would spend hours rolling around the map as a Goron. This is how I would raise money quickly. I would later learn that light arrows, when hit at a certain enemy, would produce a crazy amount of rupees. That changed my money collecting habit. I would still play around as a Goron because it was fun rolling. The Zoro mask was similar, but in water. I would swim Great Bay looking for cool stuff. I used to have dreams of this game. One included finding the couple's mask while exploring the beach near Great Bay. For the longest time, I never had the couple's mask. The couple's mask is the reward for the longest side quest in the game. I would only complete parts of it as a kid. I think I would get as far as getting the postman's mask. When I returned in high school, I beat the side quest and unlocked the Fierce Deity mask. This is the only way I beat the final boss. I was never good with bosses. My younger brother and I would take turns playing. I would solve the puzzles and he would beat the bosses. We would beat Twilight Princess together by that method. Zelda was my family's favorite series. I cannot wait to talk more Zelda down the line because I have so many memories with most of the series. When I heard the 3DS was getting a remake of Majora's Mask, I hoped it would be as good as Ocarina of Time 3D. I was sadly disappointed with the game. The changes to the bosses were unwelcomed. The Snowhead Temple's boss used to be my favorite. My dad wouldn't beat it by rolling as a Goron. He would use bombs and arrows to beat it. Learning the intended Goron method was so fun. Most bosses are like this, where there's an intended method and other things that will do. The 3DS game changed that. The swimming as a Zora was also changed. Magic was now needed to be as fast as the original. This change stopped one of my favorite idle things to do in the game. Some changes were good. I love being able to change the time more freely. It kinda did remove some of the fun of the original. In the original, you could only change the time in increments. You would play the double Song of Time by hitting the buttons twice each note. This would skip to the next section of time. This meant wasting time between important events was needed. If something happened at midnight, you could only go to the beginning of nighttime and wait for the correct hour. With Switch Online, I would mess around in the world of Termina. I never ventured to beat the game for a third time. I had fun with the temples, but the world means more to me. I would get as far as I needed to do some side quests again, but I'm not going to repeat the process of beating the game again. This game sparked one of my favorite things in Zelda history. That was the idea of a timeline. Before this game, the Zelda timeline wasn't really established. Ocarina and Majora's Mask got people ready to discuss where the heck games go in a timeline. The idea of a timeline split where Zelda sends Link back in time to live his childhood and a world without the hero of time. The next two games after Ocarina would be in different timeline splits. Majora's Mask would be in the child timeline, as people would call it, and Wind Waker would be the adult/Hyrule without a warrior. I would watch tons of videos breaking down the timeline. I tried to make my own, but I never played the handheld Zeldas. I would watch clips of those games and try to piece my own timeline. In Hyrule Historia, an official timeline was made. It included a third timeline split, which I have my own theory on, but I will share that in a future video. Majora's Mask is still one of my favorite Zelda stories. I have so many positive memories of this game. A theory that I'll share now is the reason Stalfos don't appear as an adult in Ocarina is because the Stalfos captain in Majora's Mask tells his army to stop. My brother hates this theory because time travel is tricky, and he doesn't believe it would affect the main timeline of Ocarina. We debated, yet he still doesn't like the idea. That's my game tale on Majora's Mask. Farewell, Internet Nomad.